Hello students, today we are going to discuss the differences between the dicot leaf and the monocot leaf, and this is the topic related to the plant anatomy. Let's have the differences, see the differences here. First of all, the type of the leaf. You must know about the type of the leaf, that what is the difference between the dicot leaf and the monocot leaf. So students, you must know that the dicot leaf is dorsiventral leaf. You know what is dorsiventral leaf? A leaf which is having two surfaces. One is known as the dorsal and another is known as the ventral. The position of the leaf is just like this type. See here, like this type. Say for if this is the dorsal surface, then this is the ventral surface. So there are two surfaces. The position of the leaf is such that one is known as the dorsal surface, another is known as what? The ventral surface. And a leaf which is having the two surfaces is called as the dorsiventral leaf. And the monocot leaf is little bit different. It is isobilateral leaf. In the dorsiventral leaf, both the surfaces of the leaf are not similar. The dorsal surface is different from the ventral surface. But in the case of the isobilateral leaf, both the surfaces of the leaf are similar. They are not having the differences. And the position of the isobilateral leaf is just like this type. See here. You cannot say that this surface and this surface is having any difference. But in the case of the dorsiventral leaf, the dorsal and the ventral surfaces were having the difference. But due to the such position of the isobilateral leaf, you cannot say that there is difference between this surface and this surface. We can altogether say that an isobilateral leaf is a leaf in which both the surfaces are same. Now coming to the second one, as we know very well that stomata is the prime feature of the epidermis of the leaves. In the epidermis of the leaves, what is present? The stomatas are present, and these stomatas are meant for the transpiration purpose. And here in the case of the dicot leaf, as we know very well that the leaf is dorsiventral, so we can say that there are more stomatas on the lower surface of the leaf, and on the upper surface of the leaf, there are less number of the stomatas, or sometimes we can say that stomatas are also absent. So we can say that on lower surface more number of stomata, on upper surface the stomatas are absent, or if they are present, they are present in very less number. But in the case of the monocot leaf, as we know that monocot leaf is a isobilateral leaf and both the surfaces are similar, so here the stomatas are equally distributed on both the epidermis. That is, equal number of the stomatas are present on upper epidermis and lower epidermis. And we know also that stomatas are guarded by guard cells. So the chief feature of the guard cells in the case of the dicot leaf is that the guard cells are kidney shaped. But in the case of the monocot leaf, you can see that the guard cells surrounding the stomatas are not kidney shaped, they are dumbbell shaped. Okay. Next one is the bulliform cells. These bulliform cells, let me talk about the bulliform cells. These bulliform cells are also known as the motor cells, and these bulliform cells are found in the epidermis of the grasses, or we can say in the epidermis of the monocot plants. And these bulliform cells or the motor cells are actually related with the turgidity. They are related with the turgidity, right? And they are having the tendency to gain water, they are having the tendency to lose water. We can say that they are important for the rolling and the unrolling of the leaves, or we can say the opening or the closing of the leaves. So the bulliform cells or the motor cells are absent in the dicot leaf, but especially in the case of the monocot leaf, if you will be viewing the upper epidermis, so in the upper epidermis there are little larger cells present, and these cells are called as the bulliform cells, which are important for the rolling and the unrolling of the leaves. Next is the mesophyll tissue. As we know that the tissue present in the leaf is the mesophyll tissue, but in the case of the dicot leaf, this mesophyll tissue is differentiated into two parts. One is known as the palisade parenchyma, another is known as the spongy parenchyma. Now there is a little bit difference between the palisade and the spongy parenchyma. In the palisade parenchyma, the cells are pillar like, and in the case of the spongy parenchyma, the cells are circular. The pellicid parenchyma is present near the upper epidermis, and the spongy parenchyma is present near the lower epidermis. In the pellicid parenchyma, the number of the chloroplast is more, while in the case of the spongy that is known as the spongy parenchyma, the number of chloroplast is less in number. But such type of the differentiation of the mesophyll tissue here in the case of the monocot leaf is absent. Now, what type of vascular bundles are present? So, and what is the arrangement of the vascular bundle? So, in the case of the dicot leaf, the vascular bundles are scattered and they are present irregularly. But if we will be viewing the leaf of the monocot leaf, then in the case of the monocot leaf, the vascular bundles are present in rows. They are present in the rows, or they are found in a particular fashion. Now, what type of vascular bundles are present? So, you must be knowing that the leaf is not having its own vascular bundles. As we know very well that on the stem, nodes are present, and from the node, say if this is the node, so from the node what arises? Leaf arises. And what happens? That the vascular bundle of the stem enters into the leaf. So we can say that the vascular bundles what are present in the case of the stem, the similar type of the vascular bundles are also present in the leaf. And whether it is a dicot leaf or whether it is a monocot leaf, right, there the vascular bundles are closed. So altogether we can say that vascular bundles are conjoint, collateral and closed, right? Why? Because though it is a dicot, but then also we have written closed vascular bundles, because in leaf you have not seen the secondary growth. So conjoint, collateral and closed, CCC. Here also the vascular bundles are of same type in monocot leaf also, conjoint, collateral and closed. Now comes to the bundle sheath. It is the feature of the vascular bundle of the leaf that they are surrounded by a sheath. Vascular bundles, when they are surrounded by a sheath, then the sheath is called as the bundle sheath. Now the bundle sheath surrounding the vascular bundle in the case of the dicot leaf is made up of the parenchymatous tissue. But in the case of the monocot leaf, the bundle sheath is having the sclerenchyma also besides the parenchyma. Means I want to say the bundle sheath is made up of parenchyma as well as it is having the sclerenchyma also. And at the last, that bundle sheath is having the chloroplast or not. So we can say that the bundle sheath is not having the chloroplast. So the bundle sheath is colorless in the case of the dicot leaf, while in the case of the monocot leaf, the bundle sheath is chlorophyllous. It is having the chloroplast. Okay. So student, these were the differences between the dicot leaf and the monocot leaf. In previous videos, we have discussed about the dicot and the monocot stem, the differences between the dicot root and the monocot root, and in this video we have discussed the dicot leaf and monocot leaf. These all three topics, okay, the differences between the dicot and the monocot root, the difference between the dicot stem and the monocot stem, and the difference between the dicot leaf and the monocot leaf are very important. Many times questions are asked from this topic, so you must be knowing these topics in well manner. If you have liked this video, subscribe my channel, also like and share this video. Thanks a lot.